and welcome into a running back special of Craze's Corner. Just me and Will tonight. We're going to be breaking down 4 running back rooms, some new additions in each of these running back rooms, or maybe some things that have changed outside of their control. How are we doing tonight, Will?
Doing great.
We got March Madness.
Great. March Madness. Free agency has been fun. Draft is less than a month away.
And lots to be excited about, even though there's no football till August, but we still got lots to be excited about. We're going to get right into it. We're going to start with my Carolina Panthers. Running back that they just added, Rico Dowdle. Jonathan Brooks is probably not going to play at all this year. So you got Chuba Hubbard, who was outstanding, broke out, and got paid at the end of last season. You bring in Rico Dowdle, and Jonathan Brooks will have to sit a year. I've seen a lot of people saying that they're going to be downplaying Chuba Hubbard. They're moving him down in the rankings because of the addition of Rico Dowdle. I don't see that as the case personally. I still think Chuba's going to be the number 1 running back, and Dowdle will fill in like Miles Sanders failed to do last year. So I like Chuba a lot still. I don't think this move, especially it's a 1-year deal, so I don't think that this move negatively impacts Chuba Hubbard's dynasty value or his year 1 this year redraft value. Do you feel the same about the addition of Rico Dowdle?
I think Hubbard's clear number 1. And honestly, this draft is deep in running back. I think Carolina probably takes a running back late in the draft who, depending on who it is, I'm not sure what Dowdle's role truly is right now. I think he's a security blanket for them heading into camp and, off-season workouts and all that. You wanted another body because you didn't have Brooks. Mm-hmm. And I get getting rid of Miles, right? But I don't think he's the clear number 2 yet. Just be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's a cheap 1-year deal. So for me, it signals that the Panthers, if they didn't have Dowdle, they would need to take a running back. Mm-hmm. But I think this is like, okay, now we don't have to take a running back in this spot. So maybe if there's a value, they will.
Yeah, how many draft picks does Carolina have?
A lot. I think.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like
a couple 4s.
There's going to be running backs in the 4th round that are legitimate RB2s in the NFL. So if I have Hubbard, I'm holding him. If people are down on Hubbard in the league and I could trade for him for a 3rd round pick or something like that, yeah.
And then I'm
going to try to swoop him up.
I think we're both on the same page with Brooks. I like Brooks as a prospect. Brooks is maybe the reason I don't see the Panthers drafting a running back is just because they just paid Chuba and they already have Brooks, but they still could draft another guy. But I like the talent of Brooks, and if you're rebuilding, he's a guy you can go out and try and acquire for cheap. He'll be on your IR spot or in your taxi squad for all season.
So what would your advice be? So let's say we get to the draft in the 4th round. Carolina takes, I don't know, Martinez from Miami or whoever, or someone who's going to be there. Do you think that's a time to go get Brooks? Because owners might really get scared then, like, this knee's worse than we think, and they're stacking running backs.
Yeah, you definitely could, especially with Carolina. They could end up moving off of Brooks if they get a guy and they really like him. I still think Brooks is a talented back. So if the Panthers draft a running back, they just signed Dowdle, they have Chuba. If you can sell that story to a player and buy the prospect of Jonathan Brooks, then I definitely like that move. You do as well.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
We'll move on to your team, the Vikings, bringing in a running back to pair with Aaron Jones. What are your thoughts? Jordan Mason or Aaron Jones? Who's going to be the most valuable fantasy asset in this offense?
Oh, Mason by far.
Yeah?
Because even if Aaron Jones stays healthy, which I think is a legitimate conversation, the Vikings, I think, are going to, like the NBA does with some of their guys, load management. You see that coming with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I think
because they're going to stage him for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? They don't care about fantasy. They're obviously Minnesota's decided we're all in. So you don't get Mason. The Vikings could have drafted a running back. They were right. So you went and got Mason because I think you want him to carry the load.
Yeah, I think Mason will be the 1-2 down back, and then Aaron Jones is a great pass catching back. You bring him in on 3rd downs, 3rd and longs. In passing situations, he'll probably man the 2-minute offense. But I do like Mason. I think he'll get most of the goal line work.
Yep.
Which if Minnesota can pick up where Sam Darnold left off, maybe around week 14, week 15, and take that into next season with their new quarterback, J.J. McCarthy.
Well, and that's an interesting point for owners. The Vikings had a hard time running the ball in on within the red zone. This new offensive line shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. So I think Mason's a sneaky pickup right now, and he could, even if he doesn't, let's say he gets 40% of the snaps for whatever reason, which I don't think is going to happen, but let's just say his ceiling's 40%. It's when he gets those 40%, and it's going to be goal line. He's going to get goal line work, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and it'll be maybe 40% for half the games, and then the other half the games it'll be 80% because Aaron Jones is hurt. Let's be realistic here. What about Miami? They have Devon Achane and Jalen Wright. They just signed Alexander Madison. I'm a big Devon Achane guy. He is, injured. Jalen Wright, also a smaller, quick back. I like that pairing. I think they can both be valuable for fantasy. I'm excited that Raheem Mostert is gone. I don't see Madison really coming in and vulturing the goal line work. Like, he is the biggest of the three backs, but I still don't see him coming in and demanding that. So this, to me, with no more Mostert, is really big for Achane because I think he's going to end up with majority of that for Miami. Despite being small, I think they like his quickness and his speediness, which Wright also has. So this could be more of they can just play whichever one they want. They could go one drive on, one drive off, and they really don't have to change anything for Wright or Achane. So I like both of them for fantasy. I lean Achane as the 1A just because I think he'll get more of the goal line opportunities. What do you think about this backfield?
I kind of see a little different. I actually think Wright's going to get more of the red zone work. But I think Achane gets more fantasy points because I think he's the home run guy. And that offense is still built for home run hits. It just seems that they're going to stay that style of offense.
Yeah.
And I think Madison is purely an RB3. Somebody gets hurt, we need somebody, we can plug him in.
Which has been an issue for Miami running back. So it's a good insurance policy to bring him in. And then another running back who has dealt with some injuries now gets a new quarterback, new coaching staff, Breece Hall, backed up by Braylon Allen. Breece Hall, maybe a year ago, was a top 2 dynasty running back. Now Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan are up there. How far down your list is Breece Hall for dynasty running backs? Is he still top 5?
I have a hard time touching any Jet player. I just do. There's potential. Breece Hall on the Vikings, Breece Hall on the Rams, Breece Hall 49ers, Breece Hall in Carolina, Houston, Indianapolis, Bears. We can go out and list a team. Jets, Jets. No. I like the coaching hires. I like the staff. I just think this year is not going to be a good year.
Yeah,
I don't know how Justin Fields affects that distribution, especially on touchdowns.
It's the passing work for Breece that might take a step back this year with Justin Fields. Hopefully they can run the ball a little bit better, bring in a defensive-minded head coach and a running quarterback. The running game might be a little bit better for Breece Hall this year, hopefully. But again, it's the passing work that really had that PPR value for Breece Hall last year with Aaron Rodgers. That's where he really excels versus Braylon Allen. So for me, Breece Hall is still probably a top 5 dynasty running back just due to his age and the immense talent that Breece Hall has. But yeah, it's not exactly an ideal situation. If you could move Breece Hall in a pick to get a Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, that kind of thing, that's probably something I would be looking at doing, especially if you're a competing team this year and you think that maybe this is going to be your year. Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan, barring injury, should be the better. Is that what you would do as well?
Yeah, I just feel sorry for the Jets players. I just really do. I think they eventually get turned around, but this year you just feel it. Ooh. And fantasy owners should be aware, but there's opportunity. In Dynasty is opportunity.
Yeah. In Dynasty, maybe it's not this year. If you're rebuilding, maybe it's next year. I like Braylon Allen, their backup running back. He was really good last year, especially short yard situations. If this team was going to score more touchdowns, he'd probably be more valuable because he's going to be that goal line back. I just don't think it's going to be this year for him. And if the Jets do decide to move on from Breece Hall next year, then Braylon Allen could really take a step forward. So he's kind of a guy you could throw in, try and get thrown into a trade maybe as just like an extra piece instead of throwing in a 4th-round pick or something like that. Try and get Braylon Allen. But those are 4 running back situations. We're going to talk about wide receiver situations in the next show. So if you haven't seen that one already, go check it out. Thank you, Will, for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.